What's up? Inflatable enthusiast here, and today is the day I've been waiting for all year. Today is my official 2021 Christmas display. It is 100% complete, and I'm so excited to show you guys. This is just an absolute dream come true for me. I've worked so hard on this display, and I'm so happy to finally say that it's finished. So yeah. This is going to be a little different though. The day and the night view is going to be two separate videos. Unlike Halloween, which I actually did one video, but obviously I have almost 3 times the amount of inflatables this year for Christmas than I did for Halloween. So I'm going to post 2 separate videos. Right now you're watching the day view, obviously, which it should be released by the afternoon, so you're probably watching this in the afternoon. And then the night view will be released around like 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So yeah, like I said in previous reviews, before I do my display, I'll show you my grandparents' house. So here we have this 8-foot Tinsel Santa Claus inflatable. I think he's from like 2010. My grandparents have had this guy for like 10 years. It's an absolutely amazing looking inflatable. I absolutely love it. As you can see, his jacket and his pants are completely covered in this tinsel material. He's got a plastic belt buckle, and he has like sort of a velvet material on the ribbon for the present that he's holding. This one is actually modified with a YEF 200 because the material was a little thinned out, and the fan that he originally came with was also not working very good. So as you can see now, he inflates really good. Yeah, then there's this LED feeding deer right here. And then in front of their house, they have this pine tree that they have string lights on. And you'll see this in the night view as well. It looks much better. And there's some snowmen in the window with candles and stuff. There's one there and one there. And then over here is the 8-foot Tinsel Snowman, which they've also had for about the same amount of time as the Santa. My grandma said she got this at, I think, Lowe's. She said she got this at either Lowe's or Home Depot for like $20. It was after Christmas and it was on sale, and it was ridiculously cheap, so she's had to get it because my grandma loves snowmen, which if you've seen the inside of her house, obviously you haven't, but the inside of her house is covered in snowman decorations. I'm not going to show the inside of her house, but she just really loves snowmen, so she had to get this one. And as you can see, his whole body is completely covered with the tinsel material, and it looks great. The fan wasn't replaced on this one, unlike the Santa, because this one actually still works pretty good. He inflates pretty tightly still. Yeah, this snowman's probably the reason why I got my 8-foot classic snowman, because this design is so nostalgic to me. I absolutely love it, and it reminds me of just childhood Christmas memories, you know. So I absolutely love these 2 inflatables, and another LED deer with a sleigh right there. Some presents. Then over here, there's like an LED Christmas snowman family. This is the dad, the mom, and the little kid. These are also great decorations. I love these. You'll see them in the night view. They light up. The kid doesn't light up as well as the mom and the dad, but he still does. Then we have these wooden feeding deer and the standing one over there. You'll actually notice that in my display, I have the same thing somewhere over there behind the Peanuts Christmas play. So yeah, these ones me and my dad made for my grandparents. The ones that I have in my display were actually given to me by my neighbors. You'll see those in a little bit. But yeah, and then there's a spotlight on them right there, so you'll see that at night. So yeah, that's my grandparents' display. Now on to my display. Okay, so here, starting up at the front in my display, we have the Santa's snack wagon. The elf in there pops up and down. He doesn't pop up super good on some days, but other days, like if it rained or something, he will. The material on him is a little thinned. I actually had to cut out the sandbags in him because it was just weighing him down too much. He wasn't going up at all. And I wanted to keep the C7 in him, so I did. As you can see the menu there, it has light strings, Santa, 2 penguins holding a gingerbread cookie and a chocolate chip cookie. And on the back here we have a little reindeer holding, pretty sure is a cup of eggnog. So yeah, very cute, very good inflatable. I love this thing so much. I got this for free from my uncle, along with this classic Gemmy 2001 8-foot snowman right here. Another amazing inflatable. I got this for free from my uncle as well, like I just said. I had to modify this with a YEF 200, and I actually had to completely change out the base fan as well. I'll pull up an image of the original base fan right now on screen. All 3 of the legs were completely broken. I have no idea how that happened, but it did. Obviously the thing's 20 years old, so I mean, damage is to be expected. But other than that though, this thing is in really good condition. The materials thinned out a little bit, but not to the point where it won't inflate at all, because as you can see right now, it does inflate pretty good. But the YEF 200 is definitely helping it, and I completely changed the base fan with the newer 4-legged plastic ones. So yeah, great inflatable. I love this thing. I'm so nostalgic for the design. It's just a nice looking classic snowman. Then over here we have the Peanuts Christmas play scene. Another great inflatable. I love this thing. I had to take out the C7s from the sign and Snoopy, and that's because they weren't standing up. The inflatable has a YEF 80 fan, which you'd think would be good because it's pretty small, but the characters are supported by nothing but the bottom, so they were falling over. So I cut the C7s out of them, but you can still see it because the rest of the inflatable lights up great. And Lucy is one of the main stars of the show in this inflatable, aside from Charlie Brown and obviously Woodstock being baby Jesus. So I wanted to keep the lights inside of her, but she wasn't standing up, so I had to actually tie around her arm and stake her down this way because she kept falling this way on top of Snoopy. But other than that, it looks really nice. I love this inflatable. It's a great Peanuts design. Then over here we have the 6-foot M&M sitting on present. Another great inflatable. I love that classic M&M's commercial for Christmas, and I just love M&M's in general. They're probably my favorite candy. Yeah, I got this off of eBay for a fairly cheap price for its age and its condition. It looks really good. He's got antlers, a Rudolph nose. He's holding holly in his hand. He's sitting on a present. So it's just a great looking inflatable, and I love M&M's. Again, it's mainly just the nostalgia, but it's a good inflatable too. Then over here we have the new for 2021 Merry Go Christmas, an absolutely amazing inflatable. Got this off of BJ's for 150 bucks. Great price, great inflatable. It's animated, it has 10 C7s. It just looks so good. Has a YEF 200 as well. This thing's just a beast. And it looks so nice with all the characters spinning around in there. And what I plan to do for next Christmas is to make a whole like amusement park scene in my display, like somewhere over there. So I want to have this, the animated Ferris wheel, I think from Walmart, with the LED lights that spin, and some of the characters like spin and stuff. And then I want to get the classic Wheel of Fun inflatable, and this will probably be like the centerpiece of that, and just a few other like miscellaneous things to go in there. But I think it would look really cool in like an amusement park scene. So yeah, I love this inflatable too. I'm going to be saying that over and over again, but most of the inflatables I have in my display are great. Pretty much every single one is. So up here we have the 6-foot Grogu inflatable in pod. This is another great inflatable. I love it. The Mandalorian was an amazing show, and I think Grogu was absolutely adorable in it, and I think everyone can agree on that. Everyone knows who this is. Everyone, I'm pretty sure, fell in love with him when the show came out, so I just had to get this for my display. And I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I definitely like the Star Wars franchise. I don't know a whole lot about, like, you know, the lore and stuff like that, but I still like Star Wars, so I had to get this. It's just adorable, and it looks so cute. And it looks really nice at the front of my display too. I have it right in front of this tree right here, and it makes the clear material makes it look like the pod is floating, which I think looks great. It's just a really good inflatable. I definitely like this one a lot. And over here we have the new for 2021 Polar Express. A lot of people didn't like this inflatable, and I can understand why. You know, it's not really big. It doesn't have any cars behind it, or carts, whatever. But I love the Polar Express. It's definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. When I was a kid in elementary school, every day before the last day of school, before Christmas vacation, we would go over to the high school that was down the street from our elementary school, and we would go in the theater and we would watch the Polar Express. And those are some of my favorite childhood memories from Christmas right there. And then we would come back to our school, we'd go home, and it would be Christmas break. So I love this inflatable. I love the Polar Express. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I definitely think it should have been bigger. I definitely think they should have added more train carts behind it. But you have Tom Hanks in there. The inflatable itself looks really, really good, actually. I'm surprised they made it so accurate to the actual train in the movie. So yeah, another great one right there. Then up here we have the photorealistic Buddy the Elf. As you can see, I have a spotlight in the bottom of him. That's because, like I said in my review, this LED up here was actually like almost completely not working. So I changed the LED out. I didn't change the LED. These LEDs are not replaceable, which I absolutely hate. But what I did was I took a spotlight, I unzipped the bottom of him, by the fan, and I stuck the spotlight into the ground with a stake, because I stuck the spotlight in the ground, and then I closed the zipper like around the stake. So there's a little hole down there where the stake goes through into the ground, and then I have the spotlight facing straight up into the inflatable. And at night, you could see this thing from outer space. It lights up so good, and you'll see that later. But it's a good inflatable. I mean, it's not the best, but if you're a fan of the movie Elf, it's definitely a good inflatable, and I definitely am. One of my favorite Christmas movies ever. And then over here, non-inflatable stuff, but I showed you the same things in my grandparents' display. These two wooden deer. So these ones, me and my dad didn't make. These were given to us by the neighbor. This one's feeding, this one's standing. Same as my grandparents. The only thing different is the antlers on ours are brown. So, yeah. And I have a spotlight on that, so you'll see that later tonight. And then you could probably hear this guy already, but here is the new for 2021 saxophone swaying snowman. An amazing, amazing inflatable. This was one of, if not the best Christmas inflatable released this year. It's so good. You can hear the music. I have it blaring at max volume for everybody to hear. And this one is definitely a huge showstopper, aside from the 20-footers, which we'll get to over there in a second. So this guy is amazing. I love everything about this inflatable. It's just so perfect. It's so good. I don't want to get too close to it because, like I said, the music is at max volume and you won't be able to hear me. But yeah, it's definitely amazing. Such a good inflatable here. Then we have the Cousin Eddie RV. I did a review on this, and the one I did a review on had a big hole in the back of it, actually. And the one I got didn't have the sewage pipe right there and the logo right there. So I got the newer released one, which has a sewage pipe. I just had to have that because that's such an iconic scene in the movie. So, yeah, so I returned that old one with a huge hole in it, and I got this one. Another great inflatable. This is probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It's so hilarious. Cousin Eddie in it as well. He's played by Randy Quaid. Is absolutely hilarious. And the whole movie is just a great Christmas movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. You will not be disappointed. This movie is so funny. So yeah. Anyways, the next part of my display is like over there, and I don't want to, have like a 20-second clip of me just walking up my driveway. But really quick before we get to the rest of that, there's my Bigfoot cutout again. You saw him in the Halloween display. This time for Christmas, I put a Christmas hat on him. Nothing too special. I just thought I'd point it out because it's kind of funny. But yeah, so now let's go to the next part of my display. All right, so up here by this light pole, we have the 6-foot photorealistic Santa inflatable. Actually, I think he's 7 foot. I don't know. But this is a nice inflatable. Obviously, photorealistic, most people hate, and I do agree with them. It's not a very good, I guess, release by Jemmy. I don't know what to call it. But this inflatable I had to get because it just reminds me of those classic Coca-Cola Santa ads that you would see back in, like, I don't know, like the 70s and 80s and stuff. You still see them to this day as well. Around Christmas time, if you get a Coke product, it's going to have Santa on it, and the Santa that they use to advertise looks exactly like this. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jemmy based this design off of those classic Coca-Cola advertisements. And it's just like a classic Santa design anyways. Like if you'd watch like a classic cartoon with Santa in it, this is probably what he would look like. So yeah, just a great inflatable. I love it so much, and I think it looks really nice next to this light pole, which you'll see later tonight has a green light in it, and then the one over there has a red light in it. I changed that out for Christmas. So then over here, I actually did not do a review on this because it's not a Gemmy product, and yeah, it's just not a Gemmy product, but it's this I think 8-foot snowman. He currently has a big piece of ice right in the brim of his hat, so his eyes are kind of covered, but as you can see right there, his facial design looks almost exactly like Frosty the Snowman. But if you know anything about Frosty, Frosty does not have a carrot nose, he has a button nose. So this isn't really a Frosty the Snowman inflatable, it's just kind of a snowman. This was given to me as a gift. It's a nice inflatable. I mean, it's not Gemmy, so it obviously has its minor gripes that I have about it. For example, the tether loops don't have the extra stitching around them, so this will probably rip sometime next season. It has a cheap fan, and for its size, it should have a base fan, but it's like a Chinese knockoff, so it doesn't have. They don't like if you buy an inflatable that isn't Gemmy, it's almost every single time going to have a cheap fan. But it also has LEDs, which actually light it up really good, but if they go out, they're not replaceable. And then the zipper for it is actually directly underneath his feet, so like it's on the ground. So it was a huge pain to get in there because there's actually no tether loops on his feet. So he kept inflating on his back because there's no weighting in his feet, besides like 2 bean bags that weigh like 1 milligram each. So yeah, I was trying to put rocks in his feet and the zipper just broke because, you know, the rocks were like on top of it. But anyways, it's a nice inflatable. He's holding a Christmas tree. He's waving. He's got a red and green scarf. He inflates pretty tightly actually for having a cheap fan. So I definitely like this, and it's a nice gift from my friends. So I had to put it in my display. Okay, and then over here I have this classic, I think, yeah, 2011 Penguins Igloo Castle. It's animated. These 2 penguins are supposed to pop up, but the past few days they have not been. Obviously they have snow on them right now, but even if I fix them, when they deflate, they go down and then they don't come back up. So I don't know what's wrong. I think the material's thinned out on them, or the animation fan is just kind of just not inflating them right. I don't know, but I had to take the C7 out of it because it was weighing this one down too much. But that didn't really do much. But besides those 2 penguins, the design itself just looks really, really nice. I love this design. It has a light strand that goes from here to there and vice versa. And it has a banner that says Season's Greetings. It's 2 penguins on either side holding candy canes. It's 2 presents, a red and a blue. It's just a great design. And I mean, it's technically an igloo, but it's kind of like an igloo castle. And there's like 2 towers there with the penguins in them, so I just call it the animated igloo castle. So yeah, wonderful inflatable. I got this for free from my uncle. Huge thanks to him and the person who gave it to my uncle. So up here, I've been waiting to show you guys this. This is my Rudolph display. As you can see, I have the Misfit toys here. My classic Rudolph that I actually put a whole new light strand in, so now he lights up really good. You obviously still can't see him because the road is very far away. But he lights up very good now. Same thing with his nose. Clarice doesn't light up very good, but she's directly in front of the Bumble, so you can still technically see her. Yukon Cornelius, and then obviously, like I just said, the 12-foot Bumble. So yeah, I was really, really excited to show this off, because I actually did this last year. I had all these inflatables last year besides Clarice, and it looked really nice. But the problem is that since the Misfit toys, you know, and Yukon and everything here besides the 12-foot Bumble is small, next year for my display, I'm going to move this up towards the road a little more so people can actually see the whole scene I have going on right here. But I think it looks really, really nice. So then over here, we have, of course, the 20-foot tall Colossal Santa Claus. This thing is absolutely great. I love this inflatable so much. It's a huge showstopper in my display this year. Everyone looks at this thing because it's just enormous. I did a review on this about 2 days ago. Yeah, a great inflatable. The fan is obviously terrible, but if you fix the fan, which I'm going to do for next year, this is a great inflatable. The only other problem I would say is it's not made with Colossal fabric, so it's not as durable, but it still looks great. I'll get up really close to it just to show you how absolutely massive this thing is. Yeah, I'm holding the camera right above my head right now. This thing is huge. Yeah, so a great inflatable. This thing is great. I just said that twice, but whatever, I don't care. So yeah, another amazing inflatable. Then next to him, I have the 2020 10-foot fuzzy Grinch. Another great looking inflatable. This thing is also just a beast as well. It has a YEF 125. It's held up so good this year. This is probably, when my display goes on, this is the first inflatable to go up every time. It just shoots right up off the ground. It inflates within 5 seconds. It's absolutely insane, and I love the design so much. And the fuzzy material just looks so good. So yeah, and you'll see it inflates super tightly. So I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for a Grinch inflatable. This is one of the best Grinch inflatables they've ever made. Then over here we have the 8-foot 2007 classic Snowman. Another great inflatable. I just bought it for the nostalgia, honestly, and because the design is just simplistic, but it's nostalgic because this is early Jemmy. Well, they had still been out for about 6 years, but they were still trying to find, you know, they're still experimenting and coming out with very unique but very simplistic looking designs. There's like a helicopter over here. Sorry about that. But yeah, so definitely another great inflatable right here. I love it so much. The design is simplistic, but it's cute and it's so nostalgic for me. Because I grew up with inflatables like this. When I was little and I would drive around my neighborhood, I would always see inflatables like this, and I absolutely love it so much. Will you shut up? Please, stop. Please. Okay, sorry about that minor inconvenience there. But anyways, now we have the 20-foot tall Colossal Nutcracker. Another absolute beast of an inflatable. This thing is amazing. It's so huge. Another huge showstopper. I love this thing so much. Actually, my uncle, he lives right over there. When I was setting this thing up in early November, he looked out his window and he was like, "Holy crap, what is that?" He was like so surprised. It was hilarious. So yeah, this thing is amazing too. I think it looks really good near the 20-foot Santa. I didn't want to put them right next to each other, so I slapped these two in between. But this is definitely a great inflatable. In my opinion, it's the best out of the 20-footers. This thing just looks so good. The design is so great. I'm going to back up here so you can see it a little better. Yeah, I love this thing to death. I got this over the summer in August, and I did a review on it. And in my review, I explained how good this inflatable is, because it's really great. So yeah, now we'll move towards the front of my house. Okay, so up towards the front of my house here, or like sort of along my driveway, front of my house is over there. We have this 6-foot tall, new for 2021, Jack Skellington Snowman, sold at Home Depot, online exclusive. Another great design and a really funny and good reference to the movie here. In my opinion, Nightmare Before Christmas is more of a Halloween movie, but the scene where he goes to Christmas Town, you know, and he jumps inside the snowman is just a great scene. And I'm so happy they made an inflatable after it, because most people won't understand the reference, but for the people that do, it's a nice inflatable. It has a large cheap fan, has a bunch of LEDs, but I think it looks really nice in front of these trees here, which you'll see at night are actually lit up. So yeah. Now up in front of my house, I have the 2017 animated Snoopy plane inflatable, another amazing inflatable. YEF 200, bunch of C7s, a light string along the wings, an animated propeller. It's so good. I love this design so much. It's probably one of the best Peanuts designs they've ever made. I've had this guy since it came out in 2017. I remember I went to Lowe's and I bought it on sale after Christmas, and I got like 50% off on this thing. So I think the original retail price was like $229 or something like that, and I got it for like $140 or like $120. It was great. Yeah, I love this inflatable so much. It's definitely an amazing one. As you can see, Woodstock right there. Here's the propeller. Then next to him over here, I have my 12-foot 2014 Snowman. Another classic design. Well, not really classic, but I sure am nostalgic for it. This was one of my first Christmas inflatables ever. I remember when I got this back in like 2014, it was such a huge deal to me because I was still pretty young. And I absolutely fell in love with this thing. And this is the same one I've had for the past like 7 years. It doesn't inflate very good anymore, as you can see. Not tight at all. It does not inflate very good. The material is all thinned out. Not completely. It's still usable, as you can see. So I'll probably have this up for another 2 years or so, and then I'll just have to get a new one. Yeah. But I'm never getting rid of this thing, though. Even if it completely thins out and it's total garbage, I'm keeping it because I just love this inflatable. I'm so nostalgic for it. This is from my childhood, and I love this thing to death. But as you can see, his arms are supposed to be more up, but they're not. They're just kind of sagging down. But he still looks great. He's a little dirty right here because of the ground, but that's fine. I'll just wipe him down after the display, or after Christmas. Yeah, so then up here towards the porch, we have the photorealistic Clark Griswold. I really, really wanted to put him on the roof, but my dad just would not allow it. He didn't like the idea of like nails and screws being put in the shingles. He thought it would ruin the roof. So sadly, I'm not able to do that this year, but hopefully I can figure out a way to do it for next year. But I think he still looks pretty good here on the porch. You'll see at night that there's icicle lights right here that are lit up. But yeah, so it's a nice inflatable from Christmas Vacation. Like I said earlier, I love that movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie. I just wish I could have put it on the roof, but I still think he looks good there. And then on the porch right here on the steps, I didn't do a review on this, and most of you probably don't even know that I have this, but it's the classic indoor penguin, I guess. It has no tether loops. It has no LED lights inside of it. This was made, I think, back in like 2006 or 2005, and it was strictly meant for indoor use. I got this from my grandparents. They had it for like 10 years, and they gave it to me a few years ago. So now it just sits here on my porch because I can't put it in the yard. And you'll see here, actually, I had to completely replace the cheap fan because it just wasn't working anymore. So that's a new fan I put in, and sometimes it gets stuck down like that, and then he won't inflate. But every so often I have to come out here and fix him. But it looks nice, and it's a nice, like, porch greeter. So when people come up on the porch into my house, they see him. And yeah, it's a pretty nice inflatable. So I'll go over like all the lights and stuff in the night view. You'll see that. Okay, so and actually one last thing before the night view. I have this, I guess, kind of like treehouse lounge area in my backyard. It's not like actually a treehouse because it's not in a tree, but it's elevated off the ground, and it has like a little lounge area inside. It has like a couch and chairs and stuff. But I put inflatable light strings on there, which you'll see mainly at night. And I have a little LED light up bumble there that I got for Christmas a few years back from my grandparents. And then that tree right there around the corner has lights in it, which you'll also see at night. So yeah, anyways, the night view, like I said earlier, will be out later tonight. So yeah, for now, I'll see you guys later.